Let's hop into chat and biz. How has your guys' relentless reminders on the appointment increased your show? Has it increased your show rate? Do you guys know those numbers? And I ask from a question standpoint of like, our main sort of sales process is on the paid ad side, lead generated, the appointment booked, appointment showed, close won, close lost. Basically, my question is have you seen with all these automations coming in that it's improving your guys' show rate, or are you guys still getting ghosted? Part of the reason that I wanted to pick up this call is I'm going to bring the agency in-house in terms of like making the creative, the videos, the copywriting, that aspect of things. We're a brick and mortar location, right? So there's only so much that we can do within in LA, like maybe a 6 mile radius on the long side. If you go like 10, there's no chance people are driving 10 miles to get to your gym in LA, right? So we're limited on some constrained just from that side, right? So what I've seen on their end on the media buying side is basically you place your pin within 4 mile radius, and that's pretty much it. And then you're letting your copy and your creative do the actual targeting. So I write athlete in the copy, you're an athlete, you resonate with it, and Meta does its sort of thing on that aspect of it. And so I guess I kind of frame all of this up to you in terms of transparently where I'm at is like, okay, I know how to write copy, I know how to write ads, I know how to hire video editors to make the shit. I know how to sell, and we got a good team that knows how to sell, and I've got this appointment-based system which I learned from the ad agency where I'm selling a $600 6-week program so I can recoup that ad cost at the top as opposed to like doing a free week and then maybe getting a membership 4 weeks later, and I just got no chance of immediately recouping that ad cost. And kind of the model has been like sell the thing, feed it back into the ads, and just keep going. And I'm at like on my own, I was like a 1.8 ROAS. With the agency, I'm probably about that, but when I add their cost in there, I'm about 1-to-1, maybe just over that. So every dollar in, I get $1 back. That includes their agency fee, and that includes my ad spend. Mission for 2025: bring the stuff in-house, save on the agency fee, learn and invest in like how to do this. So when I can go to new markets and we can land in location 4, 5, 6, I like know what I'm doing. Like we've got an asset that I know through the other previous sales and things like that we could like hit the ground running. And my weakest part is my insecurity of not really knowing about how to do meta as well as maybe say an expert would be. So it's either like something like your guys' service or like going to Upwork and trying to find someone that can help me with UTM parameters, pixel tracking, all that techie shit that I know about but I don't know how to execute. Thank you, dude. See ya. What's up, my brother? Good morning. Good to see you. No, let's do it. So paid editorial content. So basically, pay to play. So if I want to do it, I pay to get in the magazine. Okay. Who's on the cover? I'm not saying I want to be on the cover, but I'm saying, who do you guys have somebody on the cover? Because the cover sells the magazines, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to hear out your presentation. Arner, how many times have you given that presentation? How many times have you given that presentation? Not much? Okay. Sounds like you got it memorized, man. You were rolling, baby. You're calling me from Spain. I love it. So I got a couple things. Full transparency, I'm going to be totally priced out on this. It's definitely going to be not even close to what I would want to spend on print and a website. Particularly for my business, it'd be a great like PR thing. It'd be a great thing to slap on the thing. But honestly, when I look at my marketing dollars and an ROI, that's just would never be a place that I would spend it. So I don't want to waste your time either. But I do have some questions. What's your conversion rate on a sales call like this to the next step? And how many of your calls are actually showing up like in a week? Do you know what your show rate is? Just like sales guy to sales guy talking right now. 95% show up? Damn, so if you had 100 calls, you had 95 show up and have this exact same conversation? by you having a very like a specific niche where you're going after health, and you reach out to somebody and like me who's in health, and that might be a reason for a high show rate. If I had 50% show rate, it would be Hall of Fame, but you would be surprised, man. And so on the pipeline side, how many of these calls that you take actually move into either doing the print article sale or like the big ticket item? How many like sales like what would be the close percentage of a meeting into something like this? How many of those appointments do you guys actually get sales on? 50%? 20, 25? Do you think it's greater than 30? Less than 30, yeah. That feels right. I don't want to waste any of your time too, but like at least we can exchange some sort of information here, you know what I mean? Because you're a sales guy, I'm a sales guy, and makes the world go round, baby. I wish you the best of success working for Success Magazine, but I want you to go out there and crush it, man. I'm sorry I couldn't be a close for you, but thank you for your time. See you, brother.
Dude, I should have worn my champ shirt.
There's only one reigning champion here, bro. You can see it.
I should have had mine say current champ.
Let me see my results.
Yes, sir. I'm pulling up a couple things because I got to know you pretty well, so I did some follow-up questions on some of their things.
What do you mean you feel like you've gotten to know me pretty well? So you followed up? You're like, hey, Cody's going to ask these fucking 10 questions, so we got to come ready for that.
Women ad sets was performing better with the New Year glow up than the Beachbody one. And then the Beachbody variation is getting leads at $11. So it's not god awful, but your New Year glow up does do better than your Beachbody.
We're going to have volume of leads results, we're going to have a CPL result, and then we're going to have what ad closed the most actual revenue in business. And then we're going to use all that data to optimize and make a new campaign that incorporates all that data that we've learned over the last 11 months to hopefully have an even better campaign.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm down to launch ASAP.
Okay.
I'm about to go into 2 interviews with freelancers that I found on Upwork about helping out on the organic side for our social media. Basically, the issue that I've been having is I have a lot of the ideas and I like know what to do. I'm just not actually executing. Basically, it boils down to there's a lot going on and I just need some help and assistance. Interviews, usually like with front desk, I'll have a structured set of questions that I want to ask, or like studio managers, those kinds of things. But in this one, as you're going to see, when I launch into asking these questions, I kind of just frame these interviews as like, here's this ball of wax problem that I'm dealing with, and I want to hear how you would help me solve it. Though it's a bit of an off-script approach to interviewing that I wouldn't like train my staff to do. If you're in my position and you're really close to the problem and the issue that you're looking to solve, you can frame that interview question that way and then sit back and listen to that person answer it, see how they think. Are they hitting on a lot of the key terms of what you're thinking about? And then ask sort of probing questions based on their answer. And it's a really effective way to go about asking interview questions for people who you need to be problem solvers. Just got done with those interviews for the freelancers to help out on our organic social media, and honestly I was really impressed. I talked to one gal in New Delhi, India, and then another gal in New York. I think both were really strong candidates. It's nice for me to be able to have a fluency of social media, and like by doing all this content creation and stuff that I've been pushing, and I know what to look for and what to avoid, and I know what people are saying, if they're tracking of like what I think they should be saying, what we think we should be doing, versus if it's a bunch of fluff. So that's like one really good thing about being a founder and having to wear a bunch of multiple hats, is like you have a good idea of what you need, and you don't have to hire somebody that has a ton of experience if you know what you're looking for and they have the right answers to that. The other big consideration that I have is payroll and keeping that down. So because this isn't like an absolute must to have assistance with social media, I need to really be smart about the money that we're spending here. And somebody that's in a foreign country that is going to decent amount less because living expenses aren't the same than somebody in the States is definitely something that is, I'm going to weigh my opinion on that. But where I'm at right now is really utilizing ChatGPT to hire somebody that might not have the same brand tone feel of what Allegiant is. I can upload this sort of brand guideline, tone guideline. They can feed those scripts through it. And now we don't necessarily need somebody with a really great level of fluency in English because we can train a model to help us get that. And now we can be faster and more efficient and still on brand. I think it'd be helpful if I just kind of described like what I'm sort of struggling with and what I think is kind of a path forward. And then maybe you could take that and you could kind of explain how you would go about it with your process in terms of figuring out the solution.
Sure, that sounds good.
What I'm hiring for and thinking about for this position is specifically on the organic content side. I've got a lot of good ideas and I pay attention to things in terms of formats, in terms of copywriting, in terms of hooks and those sorts of things. But what I'm having trouble with is the actual execution on stuff, being consistent, starting with like, enough of a structure or a plan. And like probably what most people you deal with talk to is like, it's a spurt of inspiration. They get it going, they'll do a little bit. And then a couple, weeks or months later, it's like, we're not as consistent as we need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the perfect person for me and like really what I'm looking for is, yes, somebody that can like tap into the higher level strategy and stuff, but I think more so because I feel like I'll be able to provide a decent amount of like direction on that stuff, but helping the actual execution from like, okay, we're going to write scripts, we're going to send it, I just have to record it now and I can send it back and get edited and stuff like that. Somebody that's really organized, like to help with the systems and the structure and like setting those pieces up so we can just be like really dialed in on like a remote based system to have content kind of going through. So that's kind of my ball of wax as I would sort of like frame up my problem and back to you.
Well, thank you. And thank you for explaining your challenges so well. Obviously, it definitely lines up with my skill set and how I have been helping other business owners with building their distribution channels through organic content on social media platforms, especially short form platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and maybe YouTube Shorts, etc.
Yeah, and like how talk to me about script writing. So obviously, I'm just an American that knows I just know English, right? You know multiple languages. But if English isn't your first language, like how do you kind of like embed yourself in my way of talking and my way of writing and so it's like it's communicating, because my best case scenario is you kick over some scripts to myself and then my business partner Tim. We're like, damn, like this is exactly how I would write something. Like this sounds just like me, and then maybe I make a tweak or two or something, but boom, we're good to go.
Yeah. So Cody, the good thing is that thanks to colonization, English does happen to be my first language. I did study, my education was primarily in English.
Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry about that. I made a horrible assumption. I'm sorry.
Just kidding. And having said that, I do have yeah.
Wait, was that a joke or was that serious?
It was 100% a joke.
You just dropped a colonization joke? I love it. That was amazing.
No, because I do get that question a lot, so now I improvise on this joke as well.
Bravo. Good stuff. Okay, continue. What are the metrics that you look for success in a reel? And in addition to kind of what you've talked about, doing the research, writing the script, that aspect, can you talk a little bit about the hook writing and the headline writing that you approach with reels?
Yeah, great question. So in terms of metrics, likes, comments, shares, honestly, it keeps changing with the business model of Instagram. So what is the text hook? What is the audio hook? What is the visual hook? And what is the call to action?
So basically, we're doing what we said we were going to do, and we're actually doing it consistently. And by doing this is that's you can't take that for granted. You know what I mean? I think those are like internal metrics that I'm really looking for like output, external metrics. I'm pretty big just on like I would love just to see our reels start to get more views. So right now, like a good one will probably top out around like 8, maybe 10,000. I had like 1 or 2 viral videos that had like 1 million and like 200,000 or something like that. But those are sort of the outliers. But if I can really start to raise the baseline of like our reach from a video view standpoint to consistently seeing that growth and doing it organically, like doing it with our ideas, doing it with consistency. Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed our conversation as well.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
See ya.
Speak soon. Take care. Bye.
Hey, Susie, what's going on?
Hi, Cody. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. All right, I just got done with those interviews for the freelancers to help out on our organic social media, and honestly, I was really impressed. I talked to one gal in New Delhi, India, and then another gal in New York. I think both were really strong candidates. By doing all this content creation and stuff that I've been pushing and in the battle, so to speak, I know what to look for and what to avoid, and I know what people are saying if they're tracking of like what I think they should be saying, what we think we should be doing, versus if it's a bunch of fluff. So that's like one really good thing about being a founder and having to wear a bunch of multiple hats is like you have a good idea of what you need, and you don't have to hire somebody that has a ton of experience if you know what you're looking for and they have the right answers to that. The other big consideration that I have is payroll and keeping that down. So because this isn't like an absolute must to have, I need to really be smart about the money that we're spending here. And somebody that's in a foreign country that is going to, charge a decent amount less because living expenses aren't the same than somebody in the States is definitely something that is, I'm going to weigh my opinion on that. But it's like, I also, for a couple $100, I want, if the other person's going to do such a better job or they have like some fluency with English and things like that, and that's going to help on the writing front, then that's going to make a big difference too. But where I'm at right now is really utilizing ChatGPT to hire somebody that might not have the same brand tone feel of what Allegiant is. I can upload this sort of brand guideline, tone guideline. They can feed those scripts through it. And now we don't necessarily need somebody with a really great level of fluency in English because we can train a model to help us get that. And now we can be faster and more efficient and still on brand.